on the roads are reduced in Africa. Now, another issue on the purpose and objective is to ensure that African countries ratify the UN Charter on Road Safety, because some other countries have ratified, other countries have not. So when we come together is to take stock. How many countries have so far ratified? How many countries have not? And what is the challenge? So that we jointly brainstorm to support them to ensure that government take interest in ensuring that they do everything within their means to support. For example, we did not have a policy on road safety, and we had to push government until last year. The policy was rolled, and now all areas that will go a long way in ensuring safety of Ugandans on the roads have been put in place. And the next action is need for funding. That now, as legislators, we are central on issues of road safety, because there is nothing which is done without legislation. There is nothing which is done without the required, necessary, and appropriate laws, and there is nothing which is done without funding. And all these can only be done, like in the case of Uganda, appropriation and budgeting is the work of Parliament. No any other institution in this country have been mandated or given power under the Constitution to pass the budget, to make laws. So this is why, under the network, the legislators are central in leading the agenda to ensure that deaths on roads are reduced. Because legislators talk on behalf of the people and represent the people. So it's about the people talking about themselves and their own agenda. So this is why Uganda was selected. One, the level of road carnage, the death in Uganda, has been persistently increasing and high. And you can talk of an average of 3,500 deaths annually. That you can't even compare to COVID-19 that killed 3,500 people in 2 years. But with a lot of resources, a lot of mobilization injected into it, that it almost brought many economies down. So Uganda, if you check our records for the first 10 years, you'll find we are on average between 3,500 to 4,000. But also because of our commitment as legislatures and also government of Uganda, working with the UN, working with the World Health, working with the civil society organization, and so many other groupings that show concern on this high level of death and the cost, because at one time when it was audited, we were losing close to 4 trillion shillings annually to road carnage, road crashes, in terms of destruction of vehicles, destruction of lives, the medical supplies that you would need to save lives, and the problem that it brings to the victims, those who are the survivors, the deformation that people go through. So that is the overall cost we are talking about, not just one accident along the roads. So this is why Uganda has been chosen, because we are coming up to say we have a problem of this magnitude, and the whole world is saying yes, we are coming there to sit with you, to plan together with you, to encourage you, to advise you, but also the rest of us, and see how we can stop this death. That yes, it is avoidable, but something is still missing that we need to do in order to stop it, and also driving and running towards achieving the decade of action target of reducing it by half. That means if we are at 4,000, our actions should enable us in the next 7 years by 2030 to reduce it to 2,000 or less than 2,000 deaths and then injuries. And then we attack another decade of the third decade of action, because now we're in the second decade of action. The first decade of action ended almost with us trying to find where our foot is. Now we're in the second decade of action. By the time we are going to the third decade of action, we should be reducing to less than 1,000 deaths annually on the roads and then injuries.